I mean, I don't really know. I don't look at Twitter enough to know what exactly is going on. But I mean, I see a lot of this. Listen, I see a lot of just, I would just describe it as hate being thrown around the Rocket League community on Twitter. And I'm not saying this to try and like put down on anyone, really. I'm literally just making like a service announcement here. If you want to make it somewhere in, I mean, pretty much any esports scene as far as I'm aware of, but definitely Rocket League, you definitely want to avoid that as much as possible. You don't want to just like go around throwing shade because you're the big man who doesn't care. I mean, a lot of people have this kind of no cares given attitude. They're like, look at me, I'm so cool. I look at how little I care about what people think. I'm gonna go say all this stuff. The only people who are suffering from that kind of attitude is the person saying the hateful things. The difference between banter and hate, 100%. I mean, when somebody just says, at someone, I'm gonna destroy you in Rocket League, that's great. You know, that's a little bit of showmanship, a little bit of banter, you know, a little bit of story for the audience to appreciate. Stuff like Retals versus EU, for example. But when people say, I don't like this guy, and just starts going off on the person for whatever reason, I mean, that just doesn't look good. It's not a good look at all. It comes across as unprofessional. So I'm just saying this to try and discourage this kind of attitude. To take this as advice. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just, I wanted to just say my piece here, because I see a lot of this and it's so unnecessary. It's just kids destroying their opportunities in the future. What would you say about people ranking AJ higher than Alpha 54 in 3v3? I would say they are probably right, in my opinion. It's very close though. It's very close. Thoughts on Spider? Never seen him in competition. Pretty good ranked player. Do I think Cal will do, a face reveal? Yeah. I think Cal would do a face reveal if Middle East are led in RLCS. I believe he's told me that before. I believe he's told me he would do a face reveal if Middle East are led in RLCS. It's a great game, man. Astral's reactions during this game are so funny. Do I think Flakes could get back to being one of the best? Yeah, if he grinds, he could. What one player do I think has changed the ones seen the most? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I don't know. Change the one scene is so subjective. So subjective. I mean, the guys way back in the beginning were the guys doing the most changing because there was more like incorrect play way back then. However, you could also make the argument that guys who kind of brought about the mechanical revolution in 1v1, where now all these crazy plays are viable, changed the game the most. So, really tough one. You could also look at the GOAT conversation. You know, is FairJame the guy who changed the game the most because he was the best for the longest? Possibly. I don't know. But I mean, just to list off a few players who I think changed the game a lot, I would say Marky Duda, certainly. Scrubkilla, Cuxer97. I think Dapper was someone who really changed 1v1. I reckon Devo has to be in that conversation. You have to put FairJame in there, no questions asked. You have to put Flakes in there. You have to put Khaled in there. Have to put Jorias in there. Maybe apparently Jack as well, because he I think he did the air dribble bumps. He was the first like really high level player to kind of main air dribble bumps for a while. So I think Jack as well. But yeah, that's my list of players who have changed ones a lot. Probably Astral as well, actually. I mean, we're watching him right now, so it's kind of like hard to ignore. But yeah, Astral, when he burst onto the one scene, he was kind of doing stuff nobody else was able to do. So yeah, maybe I have to put Astral in there also.